Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. So today we will be doing like a medium set, nude and white. I'm going to be doing some nude swirls, so stay tuned. I hope everybody already went ahead and purchased a cuticle bit. If you're scared of using your sanding band, especially to get close to the cuticle area, I always suggest that you get a cuticle bit. This way you're going to be more comfortable to get close to your client cuticles and in the side walls, because this is very gentle and it's not as aggressive as your sanding band. You definitely do not have to do this step if you can do it with your sanding band. Having a cuticle bit is also not mandatory, but it helps people who are afraid to get in those side walls and get the cuticles. So whenever I'm done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep the rest of the nail at around 5,000 RPMs. You never want to go over 6,000 RPMs. So I think a good range to stay is 4,000 to 6,000 RPMs. And whenever you're prepping, you're just removing the shine from the client's natural nail. You do not have to put too much pressure on the drill because you don't want to damage your client's natural nail. So how you know that the nail is prepped is going to leave from shiny to having that matte look. You want to make sure your nail is prepped properly, because this is going to help you with your lifting. This is the first step that's going to help you with lifting. And whenever I'm prepping, I go from the right to the left. And of course, you guys already know I never skip this part. I always come in and clip my cuticles with my nippers, because whenever I leave this and I'm coming in to place my cuticle bead, sometimes these hanging cuticles can get in the way of your cuticle bead. Or if you're trying to come in to do any type of polish work, you're not going to have that nice and seamless look. So you want to make sure that if you're not comfortable, just get as close as you're comfortable to do so. You don't have to go all in if you're not super comfy with that, because you know we try not to cut our clients. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue my tips on using the KDS glue. And whenever I glue my tips, I put the glue on the nail first, and then I glue the tips on to the nail. You do not have to glue the tips halfway through the nail or none of that. All you need to do when you put the glue on, put the glue like exactly at the tip and glue the tip exactly at the tip. Like some people also think that they have to glue the tip halfway through the nail, which is wrong, because you want to leave as much nail bed as possible to work on. The more space you have to put the acrylic is the longer your client's nail is going to last. And as for the tip measuring, you already know you have to make sure that your tips are fitting from side to side. That way it has the full strength and it's not going to break easily. One thing that I start practicing, I start to turn my client's hand around and look at it from the client's view, making sure the tips they're on super straight from the jump, because most times if the tips they're on crooked, it's kind of hard to get the shape back in the end. So to save some time, I sometimes go ahead and turn their hands around if I'm not sure, and then I'll just proceed. But I make sure the tips are straight before any type of acrylic application. that I'm done gluing my tips on, what I'm going to do is cut the nail to the client's desired length. Then I'm going to measure them next to each other, making sure they're all on the same length. I'm going to do this by putting the cuticles next to each other. I really do not have a lot of shaping to do because these tips are already pre-shaped. So all I'm going to do is just come over one more time, making sure everything is nice and crisp before I start working. It's always good to pre-shape your tips before you start working, because then when you start to apply your acrylic, you have something to follow. I usually blend my tips to the client's nail, that way my application is going to be nice and smooth. And sometimes if you're using like a color that's not as pigmented, you don't want this to show through it. So it's always good to blend the tip to the nail. And of course we dust that dust off, and then we're going to come in with our lint-free wipes and our dehydrator and dehydrate the client's natural nails. What this does, it removes any excess oil from the client's nail, and it's going to help with lifting as well. And I must say, ever since I start dehydrating, my client's nails, like, they're really lasting longer. So dehydrator does work, and I didn't start using dehydrator maybe until 4 months ago. And of course now we're priming the nails. Do not overflow your cuticle with the primer, because that can also cause lifting. So now we're going to be using bubble pink on this set, not bubble pink, Nyomi nude on this set. So what I'm gonna do is, the first bead I'm gonna place right where the tip and the natural nail meets. The first thing I do when I apply my acrylic is I make sure that the client's finger is tilted downwards. That way the acrylic is going to naturally flow to the tip of the nail. You always want to make sure when you place your acrylic, you're cleaning the sides up and making sure you're keeping the shape. If you leave the sides to overflow and get bulgy, you are going to struggle with your shaping in the end. And remember, we pre-shape the tips because we want to save time with shaping. So don't pre-shape the tips in the beginning and then do your acrylic application extremely messy, and then now you just wasted 10 minutes, 5 minutes pre-shaping your tips, and then you spoil the shape all over again. And like I said, whenever you place your acrylic down, you do not want to overwork the acrylic, especially when the acrylic is wet. When the acrylic is wet, you want to give it very light feathering motion, because if you be too aggressive with this, is all you're going to be doing is you're going to be removing the acrylic from where you placed it. Most of the time the nail has a structure, and you should be applying your acrylic based on the structure of the nails. Most times medium nails and short nails, they're mostly like 2 balls or 1 ball methods. So you just need to pick a method that you are comfortable with and just keep working on that, and that's how you're going to be able to improve your speed. Most time we tend to overthink our acrylic application, but I promise you this is I'm not gonna say it's very easy, but you can catch on to it once you start understanding the acrylic and knowing that it doesn't need a lot of work, and knowing that you need to be working with it very gently. So whenever you place your acrylic down as well, let's say you place a bead and that bead is for the apex area. Try to keep most of the acrylic in the apex area, because I notice with a lot of beginners, whenever they place a bead down, they work extremely aggressive and keep moving the bead from where they place it, and then in the end they end up with the tip of the nail being super high and then the back end of the nail is super low. So whenever you place your beads, be intentional about it. If the bead is meant to cover from where the tip meets to the free edge, make sure that bead covers that area. Stop using your brush while the acrylic is too wet and you keep wiping the acrylic off the nail. What you need to be giving it is tapping motion. Look how I'm working my brush. It's barely that I'm pulling it. I start to pull it when the acrylic starts to set up. That's the time when you're going to be able to pull it. Other than that, try to use like light tapping motion just to kind of like mold it in place. But when the acrylic is wet, it is impossible for you to pull the acrylic because you're moving it out of place. If it's too wet, give it some tapping motion. You see how I'm tapping it in place? I'm not trying to move it, because once I start working it too much while it's too wet, I'm going to start removing the acrylic, and what's going to happen is I'm going to keep adding acrylic over and over and over again to the same spot. So whenever you place your acrylic down, please stop using your brush to remove the acrylic. Place the acrylic with an intention and keep the acrylic in its place. And of course, you guys already know 876 acrylic. It's extremely easy to work with. We have over 18 cover powders, and we have a lot of stuff in store as well. So remember, if you're looking for any type of color acrylics, you can definitely go ahead and check out the link that I'll be leaving in the description box. This brush that I'm using is a number 12 brush, and the paper towel that I'm using is a Viva paper towel. The brush you're using, you must be comfortable with it, and also whenever you're working with your brush, make sure that the bristles are flat. Don't work with a brush that has like a balled up tip. I don't know how to explain that, but look at my brush. You see how that's super flat? You're going to be able to maneuver the acrylic properly like that, and you're going to be able to like do better placements and work the brush better. But when the brush is like comes to a point at the tip, it doesn't usually work properly. And also, the paper towel you use is very important. You want to make sure you're using a good paper towel that's going to be removing the acrylic from your brush. If the paper towel is not right, you're going to end up buying brushes over and over again. Each time you stroke your acrylic or you go in your monomer, you need to practice constantly wiping your brush. And whenever you're done working as well, the last thing you should do is put the brush in the monomer and clean it out with the paper towel. But never just finish working and throw the brush to the side, because you're going to have a problem. That's our acrylic application, and I'm just gonna come in one more time with my 8080 grit hand file, and I'm going to go over the shape one more time. I do not have a lot of shaping to do because I cleaned my sides up and my acrylic application was nice and extremely precise. Don't forget to hit that like button and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't liked this video as yet, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Now I'm going to come in with my panel drill bit. This is a medium bit, and this is going to also be in the description. I think I got this on Amazon. I'm going to check and leave it one more time for those of you guys who want to get it. This is a medium panel bit. So with drilling, whenever you're drilling, you always want to make sure that your pinky finger is resting on your client's finger or on your hand, however you want to do it, but you have to have your pinky finger resting somewhere. That way you can always keep your drill stable. If you have your pinky finger off, the drill is going to be rolling around all over the place. So your pinky finger is extremely necessary. Also, whenever you drill, you have to make sure that you have full control over the drill and you keep your drill moving. Try to not stay in one place too long, because once you stay in one place too long, it's going to start heating up and then your client nail is going to start burning. However, if as soon as you place your drill, you notice that your client's nails start burning way too fast, that simply means that your drill bit is dull. So all it's doing is heating up and it's not getting the job done. So make sure that you're not using an extremely dull bit, because this heats up super fast. And of course, we have the drill to seal our cuticles as well. You have to make sure that your cuticle is nice and sealed, because if not, you are going to also have lifting. Sealing the cuticle basically means that you make sure that there's no acrylic in the cuticle area, upon the skin, and in your side walls. You want to keep that. The acrylic should look like it's growing out your cuticles. There should be no acrylic like up on the skin or on your side walls, none of that. There should not be like a hump in the back. The back of your acrylic needs to be flat and laying like super flat on your client's nail. And that's how you're going to be able to seal your cuticle and prevent water from getting underneath. So now that we're done with all our drilling, we're going to just buff, come in, give it a quick pre-shape one more time. Then I'm going to send my client to wash her hand. Then I'm going to jump right in the design. So like I said before, we're going to be doing some swirls. So the plan for this design is I'm going to use matte top coat. That's why you saw in the beginning, I'm going to put matte top coat on the nail. And the matte top coat, that's going to help my lines to look super sharp without having to going over them over and over again. So I really advise each and every one of you, if you like to do nail art or if you're doing any type of nail art, put a matte top coat first before you start your nail art. The first lines you draw, they're going to be very precise, and you don't have to keep going over them like over and over again. This definitely, I'm so happy when I found this technique, because I really hated going over my Frenchies two times, or any type of nail art 2 times. The nail art already takes time, and to do it 2 times is like, oh my gosh. So the matte top coat is a lifesaver. But however, I did have to come back in and put a polish over this, because I suggested it to my client that maybe she's not going to like how her nails were showing just a tad bit underneath the acrylic. So I did come in and I used like a D&D polish, and I ended up having to go over her nail one more time, like with this polish, and this gave it like a better coverage. I definitely preferred how this look. However, if you are going to do a base polish, let's say you're going to do a base polish first, you do not have to use a matte top coat, because the base polish is already going to give you that nice surface to work on that's going to create very sharp lines from the jump. So if you're using any type of base polish, you don't need the matte top coat. So I didn't need to put that matte top coat on from the jump, but I didn't know I was gonna do all this extra stuff. So yeah, that's what I did. Then I'm going to come in with my liner brush and some white gel polish, and I'm going to start with my lines. Whenever I'm doing any type of line work, it's just like using a drill. You have to make sure your pinky finger is resting, because this is going to keep your hand stable. And then whenever I'm doing lines, I already think about what direction I'm going in. You can't just start drawing and then you don't have a sense of direction. So you have to know what direction you're going in, what technique you're about to use. Is it that you're going to make the line first, then you're going to shade it in? Like, what's your plan? So make a quick plan in your mind and then you just go for it. So what I usually do, I usually make the bordered line first and then I do the shading. That's what I do. That's my routine. I stick to it. And like I always tell people, if you want to move fast, find a routine and stick to it, because the moment you start doing the same thing every day over and over again, it's going to become super easy for you. You're going to do it with like minimal effort, because you do it so many times. You already know exactly what you're about to do, and you don't have to be buck shuffling or double thinking what's next. So pick a routine and stick to it. Also, to do nail art, you do need a good nail art brush, because sometimes if the nail art brush is not good, you're not going to be able to get lines that are nice and precise. I'm still struggling to find a good nail art brush, to be honest, but in the meantime, this is getting the job done, so I'll just work with it. Do you guys see how the lines are like not cracky, or doesn't look like it needs 2, 3, 4 coats? So I definitely love this technique. This set came out super cute. We were so happy with the results. So I'm gonna let you guys watch the rest of it to the end, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section. So until next time, take care, keep practicing. I wish you guys all the best in everything that you're doing, your nail journey. I hope everything is coming together good. And don't be afraid to comment asking me any questions if you need help with anything. I'm always happy to assist. And for those of you guys who don't have my Instagram, I'm going to leave it in the description as well, because I do answer to my DMs. So if you have any questions and you want to get to me very fast, you can always send me a direct message, because I do be responding to people. And if you direct message me, that's the fastest way to get through to me. So yeah, that's the final thing. And then after this, I'm just going to be adding my top coat, put it in the light for 60 seconds, and then that's going to be the final result. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, stay blessed, go on big up on yourself. Thank y'all for supporting 876 Nails. Bye.